Hopefully we're live.
I think so.
I hope so. Can you all see us? Can you all hear us? Let us know down in the comments. That would be absolutely fantastic. There could be a little bit of a delay because of adverts and what have you. I have no idea.
Who knows?
Soon find out. I get the comments come through quicker on the phone than they do StreamYard, so I've got the phone just there. Ooh, skip survey. Yeah, we're up and running. Can you all hear us and see us completely fine and all the rest of it? Skip survey. Yeah, we're running. Can you all hear us? Oh my gosh. Hey, hi everybody. Hey. So for anybody who doesn't know, but I'm sure you all know who the Invert Kingdom UK is by now. If you don't, then shame on you. Happy Ant will drop Pycdex's channel link in the comments a lot through the live. So if you're not subscribed to Pycdex, please make sure you do so because his channel is flipping excellent and his builds are just like absolutely mental.
Thank you. I
think it was your Balfourii build that just started. That first sort of got my head thinking, do you know what? We don't have to keep spiders just in soil. We can do some fancy stuff here.
Yeah, I loved the Balfourii builds. Now I'm obviously trying different things. So
right, let's have a quick hello down the comments and then we'll get into it this evening. So hi Diane, hi Callum, hi Phil, hi Christine, hey Russell, hey LJ. I think there's everybody that's commented so far.
Bugs and stuff. Northern Exotics, Faceless
Hey,
Invert.
Faceless.
Hello. Princess Richard.
Princess Richard's in the house. Hopefully, hi Kate. Hopefully we've got everybody. Wow, I'm leaking vape juice everywhere. Hey Christians, hey Jim. I'm good, but more importantly, Pycdex, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Good, yeah. Like I said to you earlier, I had a bit of a headache earlier, but other than that, I'm good, yeah.
So where did all the invert keeping start with you? Where did the love and the passion? We'll get to Balfourii, don't worry. where did the general sort of interest come from? Where did it spark?
So when I was a kid, I lived in a house of complete arachnophobes and all that. I was just the odd one out. I used to watch all the programs, TV, like Really Wild Show and all that kind of stuff, and all sorts of weird and wonderful shows. And reptiles and inverts just did something for me. So I'd have books and everything like that. But I was never, the idea of keeping them was never entered my mind because I knew that it would be an absolute no-go, never happening, not even close, don't even ask sort of thing. So I think it kind of just built up something inside me. And then as soon as I left home and moved in, most people buy a sofa or you know, something useful. I bought tarantulas, and then it kind of went from there. Like my first order was 3, and then, as you know yourself, it quickly escalates into something else. And it just spiraled from there.
You start with 2 or 3, and then the addiction starts, and then it's game over.
Yeah.
So how long have you been into your spiders? Have you kept anything other before that, or?
I kept reptiles before. Inverts. Like I managed to, whilst I was still at living with my mum, I managed to sneak a leopard gecko in at first, and then squeezed a bearded bat dragon pair in, and then that was pretty much it. Other than the furry animals that the family had. But yeah, predominantly it was reptiles, but then obviously once I started keeping inverts, that just kind of took over. I mean, I still have reptiles, but as you know, inverts, you can have a lot more of them in a lot less space. So inverts just kind of took over, and like I say, I'd kind of been holding in all this passion for inverts, and I'd never been able to express it, and then suddenly it was just like, boom, have what you want.
I didn't even know I had a passion for inverts till somebody gave me 2 spiders, and then it was like I couldn't even tell you where it came from. It just ignited.
Yeah, I mean, I remember having a book growing up as a kid, and it still bugs me to this day that I can't remember what the book was called, but I remember what it looked like and everything like that. And that book, by the time I left home, was just in tatters because I've just been through it so many times. It was just unreal.
Did you go through the whole watching David Attenborough documentaries over and over and over?
Yeah, over and over. Like I say, like that. Things like the Really Wild Show and Wild and Deadly, and any video that I could come across, or documentary or show that I could come across. And little did I know that obviously there was such a big hobby for it, and that there was like so much like shows and stuff like that. I didn't know at the time when I was younger. I didn't know nothing about the BTS, which had actually been going for quite a long time. I didn't know anything about the fact that there was all this community out there that you could be a part of, until kind of like once I'd moved out and I started looking at getting my own spiders. Then it kind of just was revealed to me, and it was like just discovering a whole new world just after all those years.
When we first started keeping them, it's the same really. You just think the pet shop and that's it. And then I think it was Tara did a search for tarantulas. We found Dark Den. Yeah. And it was like, yeah, he's good. But then we come across like your channel, Bug Realms, Invertebrarium, and the other stuff. And then it was you guys that kind of gone, oh, look at this mystery box, Invertebrarium as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or look at this show. And me and the missus like looked at each other and we were like, we've just paid £90 for a P Metallica this big. 90 quid from the pet shop.
As soon as I realised that I didn't have to pay crazy prices, like I say, before I actually ordered my first spiders, I'd been looking at shops and stuff like that. And then I found the spider shop via Tarantula Dan's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then that's where I ordered my first spiders from. And I was like, you mean I can have 3 for the price of 1? Like, do you know what I mean? In a pet shop, I would never have been able to get the 3 I got at the price that I got them. Like, it would have cost me that much for 1 at a pet shop. And so that, I think, just spiraled the addiction a bit more, because it was like they're a lot cheaper and I can just get more of them.
What is this thing called a mystery box?
Yeah. About my toe. But yeah, he's amazing.
What was your first videos that you put up? Can you remember?
Very first videos weren't even initially tarantulas. My channel was originally gaming. Like, when I first discovered YouTube, I used to make terrible gaming videos, and from my bedroom at my mum's. And then I just kind of, once I'd got the spiders, I was kind of like, I didn't even, I watched Tarantula Dan and that, but like, I don't know what made me decide to make my first tarantula video. And my first tarantula video was in the spare room at our old house that later turned into the nursery. And it had something like pink love heart wallpaper on the wall behind me. And then, and I was just like, I think at the start of the video said, I don't know if anybody that watches my channel will want to see this, but these are my tarantulas. And like, I keep tarantulas. And then it literally just, from making that video, even though I didn't particularly get like a crazy response from it, like most people that watched the channel at the time were watching for games and stuff like that, I just kind of went, no, this is what I want to make videos about. So forget the games and don't care what you lot want. I'm making these videos. Luckily, I didn't really have a very big audience at all at the time. Like, so it didn't really matter that I completely changed everything. And then obviously the spiders took over from there, like on YouTube as well.
So obviously, I mean, when I come to YouTube, it was like yourself and Bug Realms, Peter Webster, Invertebrarian. Who else was this? Bird Spider, CH, and all the rest of them that I was kind of going, wow, that is just some mental spiders, just some what being true spiders or Weaver. Yeah. What is that? Where did you get that from? You know. So when you first started going into the tarantula videos and that, who were you looking up to and going, wow, that is crazy?
I used to literally touch on dance videos. Like, I didn't know Dan then. Like, obviously, I do now. Like, I just used to spam his videos, and I was like, I think kind of part of the appeal was that I was from the West Midlands and he was from the West Midlands. So like, oh, there's another guy from the West Midlands that, you know, has spiders and makes his videos about them. Like, maybe I can do it. I never thought I'd ever do anything quite like his. Like, you could just tell that there was a lot of people that watched him, even though he doesn't show his subscriber count. You could just tell from the comments and everything like that. And I never thought it'd ever be like that, but I thought, well, if he can make videos about them, why can't I? And I absolutely loved his videos. And Exotics Lair was around at the time, and initially I used to watch him. I don't so much now, and who else was around? There was Tom Moran. I primarily watched Tarantula Dan and the Dark Den as well, because obviously Dan and Petco get on quite well.
Yeah.
So I think if you watched one, you kind of watched the other one. So like, yeah, it was mainly those channels. There wasn't anywhere near as many channels as there is now around then, which obviously is a great thing because there's more people promoting the hobby in a positive light and trying to change people's opinions. But yeah, there wasn't a ton watching and then started thinking about doing it myself.
It's like, it's really nerve-wracking, isn't it, to put your first video out?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because you must have gone through that twice.
Yeah.
Which one was worse? Which one was scary? Gaming or the first tarantula video?
I don't know. Gaming was scary because I'd never put a video out at all. But I kind of just thought, well, no one's going to see it anyway. No one's going to like watch it or see it or whatever. So, but the thing with tarantulas was, it's a bit like, because obviously I kept reptiles as well before, and I knew what the reptile community could be like at times. So I was like, I don't want people to roast me for like,
yeah,
you said this wrong or you've done that wrong. Or so I think the tarantulas was probably a bit more intimidating just because I knew what it could be like. Gaming, like, it was scary because it was my first video, but at the end of the day, let's be honest, the kind of negative feedback I could get from gaming would be, oh, you crap, you're not very good, this, that, and the other. It's nothing.
You just got killed, yeah.
People are a bit more brutal at times when it comes to animals like reptiles, inverts, and stuff like that. So I'd probably say the tarantula videos.
Some of the things I've seen on like the reptile groups over the last 12, 24 months has been like, you know, especially in comments, it's just been like, what you know, where do you even think I'm going to annoy somebody that much and say this about their setup instead of going, well, actually, you know, I'll message you privately and this is how you actually do it, mate, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It can be absolutely savage, like. So yeah, someone new coming in, I can understand why it's a bit daunting for people.
Can you remember playing Modern Warfare 2?
Yes.
It reminds me of a Modern Warfare 2 chat lobby when Modern Warfare 2 first come out. That is Facebook. And some of the reptile forums.
Halo. I used to play Halo and Call of Duty and all that, and like it's. Like you can just think of all the childish comments about people's mums and stuff that used to get thrown backwards and forwards, and then it's like that's what Facebook is sometimes. Like it's literally that.
But then, I mean, Facebook and that could be. It's got the choice, isn't it? Really, it's two sides to Facebook. It can either be absolutely devastatingly negative with both hobbies, or it could go the opposite way and be an absolute amazing source of
Yeah,
information,
definitely.
source of putting people together for the things that they love and all the rest of it. And I think at the moment it literally is sitting on that edge of a knife.
Yeah, it's like on a like teetering edge, like, because like I say, I've had both positive and negative experiences through Facebook and other social media as a result of YouTube, because obviously you promote your stuff through across social media, and I've had a lot of both. But I think what it does do, especially doing YouTube, it kind of helps you build a thicker skin sort of thing, because you're always going to get some of that negativity at some point. But I think it is YouTube. Doing YouTube does help you build that thicker skin across other social media platforms. You kind of learn to ignore a lot of the negativity and appreciate the positivity that you do get from it.
Like Greg said, he got direct abuse on his channel videos, which was devastating because Greg ain't done a video now for a long time.
No, exactly. It can have a very devastating effect on people. I just think people don't think when they're behind a keyboard sometimes, do they?
I don't think a lot of people realise how hurting or even how personal somebody could take it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
for one person it's a flitting comment, for somebody else it's literally
100%.
the be all and end all.
100%. Like, but it's like what I try and think about is, as much as some comments might get under your skin, then it's the positive feedback and the friendships that you build. Like you try and focus on those, and obviously they far outweigh the in what they mean to you than these negative comments. And I think there's always going to be negative comments, but hopefully there's always going to be more people more good people out there that are going to show you support and obviously give you, if they're going to give you feedback, give you like constructive feedback rather than just your crap or whatever.
It's my channel is weird because it's like not many people comment, but I get a lot of inboxes on Facebook.
Yeah.
About like whatever video I put up, suddenly like my inbox will like just light up, and I'm like, why don't you put that on the YouTube? Help help to boost it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, I don't know. You might be the same. If somebody says something, I always think about it negative before I look at it in a positive light, even if it's a positive comment. I think that's just part of the mental health kicking through. It does take me a little while to work out. Oh, hold on a minute, somebody's actually being nice. So that's why I kind of read something, then read it again now before I reply. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think it's easy to do that, like you say, with elements of mental health and stuff as well. It is easy to take things in a negative light. But again, with mental health, it's always that struggle that comes with that. And I think the thing that people watching don't realize is that just because someone does YouTube, that they don't struggle with things like mental health. A lot of the time, I think that people who do YouTube use this passion they've got and putting videos out as a distraction from mental health. So I think people just assume that if you're doing YouTube and you're putting yourself out publicly, that you should be able to tolerate it, and that you would never suffer with mental health. But they don't realize that mental health, it's a coping mechanism for a lot of people. And so that when you do put a hurtful comment, sometimes that can hurt somebody who is a public content creator more than it would be than it would just any other person, because they're using that platform to make themselves feel happy just as much as they are their audience, sort of thing.
Have you found the more that you've come out about mental health and told people about mental health, that the more people that you're finding have actually suffer with it, and it's just getting people are just coming out of the woodwork saying, actually I feel a bit unwell.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. And that's why I never used to talk about mental health. I was very much one of these people. It's like I keep it to myself and like I didn't talk about it. But now I'm always willing to talk about it, and I don't shy away from it. And in fact, I always have mental health links and stuff in the very bottom of my YouTube descriptions. Like they're always there. So because it just resonates with me so much now. And I just think that even if someone out there who's watching doesn't want to or doesn't feel ready to actually openly say I'm struggling, if they go to my descriptions, my videos looking for, I don't know, a channel that's mentions link or maybe a traders link, because they have those in there as well, they might see those links for mental health and they might think, oh, I'm going to click on them, and that could spark them on their journey to getting help that they need. They don't always have to want to vocalize it, but at least those links are there. Do you know what I mean? And available to people.
So going along the lines of mental health, and stop me and tell me to start off at any point, and we'll certainly change the subject, not a problem. But what happened last year?
Last year, my mental health went through a very big spiral, and it's actually led to the condition I have now. It led to me having seizures, which I never even realized could be a thing. And even at one point when I was doing TTSNT, I ended up having to go off the stream because I was feeling unwell.
I'm not going to lie, I was watching that night, and when you left the stream, I was just like, turn off. And
literally, I think
that was just like, wow.
A few minutes later, Ebony had to basically tell them that there was a situation going on because I was having multiple seizures on the floor in the living room, in our sitting room at the time, and to the point where she had to phone an ambulance. They came and they put an oxygen tube up my nose. They did all the tests, and they said basically it was a good job she called the ambulance when they did, because my oxygen levels had dropped to a dangerous level. They said if she'd waited much longer, I could have at the very least had brain damage. So basically that started on me on a journey of trying to find out what the seizures were and basically what was causing it. It meant that I had to stop doing as much YouTube and had to sell a lot of my animals because it affected my work life as well. It literally, bearing in mind, I'd not long become a father for the first time, so I had a young daughter. Yeah. And so it literally spiraled my entire life, because I was the main financial contributor in our household as well. And so we really struggled. And in the end, I mean, it's still an ongoing journey, but I have been diagnosed now with a condition called non-epileptic attack disorder. It means that my seizures look exactly the same as epilepsy, but they're triggered in a different way. So I've had MRIs and all that kind of stuff as well to check it all.
They're triggered by like stress and depression and overthinking. Yeah.
Stress, depression, anxiety, like extreme stress. So it's not just, I feel a little stress and then I have a seizure.
That's mate and my stepdad both have the same thing. Yeah.
It's like the way the doctors explained it to me is it's like a computer crashing. Like it gets overloaded or overwhelmed, and your brain just shuts down and has to reset for. But unfortunately, when it resets, not everything works straight away. I can come around from a seizure with like no use of my left arm, or my face will have dropped a bit and I can't speak properly for a while. And it's like almost like when your computer starts back up, it boots certain things first, and other things take longer. And so. Yeah, I've had to come to terms with that and start living life slightly differently. And that all spiraled from my mental health, basically.
That is mind-blowing. I suppose it's difficult. Do you find it difficult to kind of explain to people the difference between like seizures and epilepsy? And Because I mean, our lad, he has seizures, but they could be epilepsy, but the doctors don't think so, which is just Before you know about it, you kind of think, what do you mean? It's not epilepsy, because you think seizure, epilepsy. That's it.
Because that's exactly it. Like, because they say seizures are epileptic seizures are electrical, are triggered by electrical impulses in your brain. Like, but these seizures are are triggered slightly differently. Like on an MRI, is it an MRI or is it whatever it is? They on
a scan.
I think it's an MRI. If you have an epileptic seizure or have recently had an epileptic seizure, it will show on the MRI the electrical impulses in the brain. Wow. But if you have one of the seizures that I have, a non-epileptic seizure, no electrical impulses show. And that's because it's not triggered in the same way. They look identical, but they're not triggered in the same way. My condition, non-epileptic attack disorder, is a neurological condition. Like, so it's a mental condition. So it's your brain that's not working properly. So realistically, it's kind of categorized the same way, like you would categorize depression or schizophrenia or something like that. It's a mental disorder that is the symptom of that mental disorder is a seizure. Like, whereas with epilepsy,
that is the symptom.
The seizure is the condition. So it's a lot lesser known than the likes of things like epilepsy, and even medical practitioners still don't understand it. But they think because they've done however XYZ amount of years studying medicine that they know everything, and they're like, well, if it's not epilepsy, then it's not real. You're faking it. Like, I've had medical professionals turn around to me and like, because the thing with these seizures is you can be having a seizure and you have no control over your body, but you can still hear sometimes. You can still hear what's going on around you. So it's almost like sleep paralysis or things like that. Or, you know, when people lose control of their body.
Would you say you're fully aware of what your body's doing? You just can't control it?
Yeah, sometimes. Other times it happens in your sleep. So you can hear certain things. It's almost like going in and out of consciousness. Sometimes you can hear, sometimes you can't. And that time I had that event happen on the stream, when I got to the hospital, I was still having seizures. But as I started to come out of it, and obviously I'm starting to get more of my senses back, I've got a doctor doing the typical thing where they lift your arm up and drop it sort of thing. Obviously, if you're not with it, your arm just drops, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Apparently, the first time he did it, that's what happened. But then as I started to come out of it and come round, he did it and my arm gave a bit more resistance because obviously you're a bit more with it. So you're starting to come round, so your body's starting to get more control. And because it didn't drop like floppy, he turned around to me and says, "Stop it now. You're basically faking it." Now, bearing in mind, I've just come out of like a massive seizures. I've had an oxygen tube up my nose and like, obviously I didn't know all this at the time. I found out later about what having the oxygen tube and what the paramedics has said. But bearing in mind, I'm not that good of an actor. I couldn't make my oxygen levels drop to such a dangerous level if I was pretending. But this medical practitioner was basically like, I don't understand it, so it's not real. And I think that's the horrible part about it. And not just this condition, just mental health in general. If people don't understand it, it's not real. And I think that's a hard part about mental health and conditions that come from it, because people, even in this day and age, still don't fully understand it. And it's a shame.
Our little one, he's 3. He's obviously got the autism. And like I do a lot of awareness around that. But he gets seizures alongside his autism, which aren't epilepsy, but they're autistic seizures.
Yeah.
His first seizure that he had, his pediatrician, turned around and said, "Yeah, it was a nightmare." The second one he had, which seen us phoning the doctors, and then they literally we phoned 101, which in Coventry is like the out of hours. They immediately said ambulance. Ambulance crew came, did what they did, made sure it was all right, left. We went to see the doctor the next day. The doctor said, why the fuck wasn't your 3-year-old left at the hospital overnight? Why didn't the ambulance crew take him to the hospital to have all these tests?
Yeah, exactly.
The paediatrician on his third one, because every single time his temperature goes through the roof as well. So this third one, it's happened again, and they said, look, if it goes on 30 seconds, you know what you're doing. If it goes on for 60 seconds, phone an ambulance. Tara, she took the little one down to the doctors. The doctor turned around and went, I want him to see the paediatrician, his own paediatrician, within the next 7 working days, within the next week. So 5 working days, sorry, as an emergency. He put the letter through. We've got an appointment February 2022.
It's disgraceful. I mean, it's like I still like when it was all happening at its worst. I was signed off work because obviously we didn't know what was happening, what was causing it at the time, and everything like that. It's only this year that I've been able, and not that long ago, that I've been allowed to go back to work. And even through COVID and everything like that, especially with COVID, because of all that, hospital appointments have been non-existent. Like I've had to wait months and months and months for any kind of progress, and that also plays on your mental health as well. Like because you're like, I just want my life back, and obviously for a child like yours, a young child, it must be even worse because because they don't understand. Like they don't understand what's happening.
To be, I mean, through lockdown, Tara went and did a lot of training online. So she did a nail technician course and some other bits. And then this course came up for a Senko worker. And she said to me, instead of £600, she says it's been reduced because I've done all these other courses and spent quite a bit of money with them. So she did this Senko course so she can be a Senko worker in schools.
Yeah.
What that's enabled her to do is to teach me and to teach Layla a bit more about Leo so we understand him a lot more.
Yeah.
So for us not to rely on the doctors so much, for them to say, well, if he does this, this means that, it helps a lot for us. But, to be in a similar situation and not have somebody with some answers that's not close to you is exceptionally scary place to be because you just don't know, do you?
No, it's horrible. And I think it got worse for me in terms of mentally dealing with the fact that I'd always been a provider and stuff. Once we moved up here, because I don't regret us moving up here because it's very good for the girls and Ebbs gets to be close to her family again. But when Ebbs was out at work and it was just me here and stuff like that, it was like I felt alone and no one around me and like nobody could help me, sort of thing. And I think that's the other thing. Like when you feel like nobody else understands it or nobody can help you. I got to put it this way, I got to a really dark place, like with it all, a really dark place. But like I say, I'm glad that now we've got more understanding of it. What
was that dark place like, Pycdex?
Like the fact that
we can move on to something else. It's not a problem.
I mean, I've always wanted. What I will say is, I've always wanted kids, and I've got kids, and I went through a lot in regards to that as well. I never thought it was ever going to happen, and it did. And I'm lucky and blessed to have the 2 children I've got. And when you get to such a dark place, that almost something in your brain is telling you that that's not enough and that you shouldn't be here anymore. You know what I mean? That is horrendous. It's, but yeah, like I say, I'm far better now. Like I haven't had a seizure in a good few months. I'm back working and providing for my kids. And so what I would say is that what I have learned is no matter how dark it gets, there can be a comeback and there can be a way back. I mean, I know
you've been Invert Kingdom UK.
I know you've been through a lot of stuff in your life yourself, and you always, speaking about how even with how bad things got for you, you're very grateful for where you are now. And I think as much as it was hell to go through, it just makes me more grateful for where I am now. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of my recent ones happened a year ago when I was nasty to other people and nobody knew. Nobody clocked it was something going wrong or something not firing off correct in my head or anything like that. Or neither did I, because my mental health don't normally go that way. My mental health normally used to involve feeling really, really down and self-harming.
Yeah.
And I think it was Winston Churchill that wrote that book, the Dark Dog.
Yeah.
I think that even though written it so long ago, is poignant even today. Leah says, "Sweetie," what did she say? She said, "There's been loads of comments going off." Leah from Unusual Pet says, "Please know you're always welcome to talk. If you ever need, always here." Greg says, "Pycdex, I'll drop anything to talk with you at any time, any place." Leah said, "Go for everybody."
I feel the same for anybody. Like, I know when you're feeling like awful mentally, you think, yeah, people say it, but do they really mean it, sort of thing? But generally, you'll find that there are a lot of people out there, if they do say that you can talk to them, you can talk to them. And I'm the same. So I offer that to everyone and anyone.
Antscape says, "You're a handsome lad. You've got kids and a beautiful family." It's like you were saying, though, isn't it? Sometimes it's like they don't exist almost.
Yes, arachnid, that's not a problem at all. You can message.
What's your favourite colour, Pycdex?
Believe it or not, it's not blue. It's actually purple. Is my favourite colour. But I like blue for obvious reasons. Well, maybe not obvious to some people, but to a lot of people, it's obvious why I like blue.
Is it Balfourii?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, it might be. I mean, I do have blue hair, and I have a stretcher in my ear that actually has a Balfourii fang in it. So, yeah.
That's cool.
If
everybody in the comments could just light the comments up with purple hearts just to show Pycdex that he is loved, and that all this mental health, we're going to get it out there and we can deal with it all together. That would be absolutely awesome. And put those purple hearts to show you that you're also subscribed up to Pycdex. Get him his let's help to finish getting his mojo back, if you like.
I love that the question I've just been asked by Chandro, was it Mafia? Oh, the comments moved. Where did the Pycdex name come from? I love always getting asked that question. So I will answer that question.
Have you seen the comments?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But the Pycdex name actually comes from when I did gaming. My gamer tag was Psychodexterity. And when I decided to change over to inverts and stuff, a little bit like Exotic Slayer has his privacy, I kind of wanted some privacy of my own. And so I kind of wanted to have a kind of screen name to keep my... It doesn't help that I hate my real name, which is, for most people now know anyway, so Pycdex is irrelevant now. But
I think you've got a cool first name, I do.
Francis, I don't like it. Like, for anyone who doesn't know, because half the internet knows my real name now anyway, you might as well know.
I remember when people started calling you Francis, it was like, no, it's Pycdex on stream,
Yeah, I tried for a while. Peter Webster, bless him, was kind of the one that started it. He was like, "Oh, hi, Francis," and I'm like, "Peter, it's Pycdex." But it's not really important. Like,
with Peter, white is white, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and so it was all for a bit of privacy at first, and the fact that I hate my name. But obviously nowadays I just use it because some people say to me they just can't call me anything else. Like they just have to call me Pycdex. It's just alien to them to call me anything else. And then some people just call me Francis. So like now it's more just habit than anything. Like I could never start my videos saying this is Invert Kingdom with me, Francis. I just couldn't do it. Like even for me, it'd be alien. Like I just can't do it. So yeah.
I hate saying my name.
It went from a gamer tag, and the idea was just a bit of privacy. But yeah, the internet knows my name now, so it's fine. Well, not the whole internet. That sounds big-headed, but you know what I mean.
Mark Spider Guy says hi, Francis.
Hi, Mark.
I mean, I'm going to upset Incredible Inverts and other animals here because I always say he's got the best hair. He has got the best beard and the best long hair. But you literally, since I watched you, you've always had the hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If there's a nickname that I'd associate with you, it would be the hair. Yeah. I think you were the first YouTuber to be dyeing your hair and...
Oh, Greg, don't do that to me. Have you seen what Greg said?
I've just read what you...
or not, I've had that so many times. Like... We could both come from the West Midlands, and at one point in particular, I know we had pretty much similar hair, similar facial hair, and I'd like to tell you that was a coincidence, but I was stalking him. No, I'm joking. But I've actually had it at shows where me and Dan have both been there. I can't remember which show it was, but I had. It might have been. What was the last one I went to? Was it the Western one? The one before Brighton.
Bedford.
Yeah, the Bedford show.
You're on the doors, weren't you, for Spider Shop?
I was stood by the door with my tripod set up and my camera, because at the time I had my DSLR camera and stuff, which I don't have now, unfortunately. I hate using my phone now because both my phones that I use are broken. It's awful. But anyway, I was stood by the doors with my camera, with trying to get people as they came in, and I was kind of cornered, and then these two guys just appeared out of nowhere, like, oh my god, it's Tarantula Dan. I didn't have blue hair at the time, and I was like, guys, no, I'm not Tarantula Dan. I was like, but I was trying to tell them, but they were just getting so excited and trying to, can we have a photo? Are you working a table? And then someone else come over and was like, oh, is it Tarantula Dan? I'm like, oh crap, I'm just in the corner. Best thing was, literally just behind them, Tarantula Dan walked past with his camera filming. I'm like, damn! I'm trying to explain to these people I'm not Tarantula Dan. And then literally later on, I found Dan and I was like, I've just had a nightmare. I've literally just been mistaken for you. And he's like, oh, I'll see how it is. You start watching my channel, you befriend me, and now you're trying to impersonate me. Like, and I was like, no, it's not like that.
That's like the ultimate stalker, that is.
It's happened more than once. Like, from behind, like at shows, I've had people come up to me. Might be a reason my hair's now blue, because people used to come up behind me and go, Dan. And I'm like, no, I'm not Dan. Like, I was just, there was me hoping somebody found me because they liked my channel, and they just look at me with disappointment because I'm not Tarantula Dan.
You see what Andy's just put? For anyone just joining, welcome to Scott's Inverts, the Tarantula Dan takeover.
It's awful. It's like, I love Tarantula Dan, but for anyone watching who's confused, I'm not Tarantula Dan. In fact, one second. Just 1 second.
Thank you, Happy. And Happy Ant's just put Pycdex's, Francis's, the Invert Kingdom, Tarantula Dan's link in the comments. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so, because Pycdex does some absolute incredible builds, and it's really, really worth it, I tell you.
It's funny though. It is funny. You have to laugh. But yeah, it's not fun when you think people are coming up to you because they enjoy your content, and then it turns out they're just disappointed that you're not Tarantula Dan.
Oh my God, Greg's feeling very proud now. My cousin's 18-year-old son is on the bench for his first professional football match tonight.
Oh, wow. Fair play!
Wow, that's pretty. That's pretty incredible. So, King Balfourii, as I like to call you, you are the original King Balfourii. For me, you are the man that showed me first of all Balfouris.
Thank you.
And you were the first Balfourii build that I literally sat and watched and just went, wow, this guy is another level.
Thank you.
Absolutely another level. Where did you find out about Balfouris? Why Balfouris? Why have you got addicted to those? And maybe not.
I don't actually remember like when and the exact moment was. I think I was looking at tarantulas that I wanted to add to my very small collection at the time. And I came across Monocytropus balfourii, and I was like, initially, this is a really pretty spider. I want to find out more about this. And then I started just like researching, and as you do, where do they come from? Where do they live? How do they live? Then obviously found out that they were potentially communal, which at the time was still a bit, I mean, I know there's still debate now, but I just, somewhere along the line, I just got trapped into researching more and more and more, and then buying some, and then getting more and buying more and finding out more. And then I was like, I think it's time to accept that you're a little bit obsessed with this particular species, because it wasn't just the tarantula that I was obsessed with and researching. It was like where they're from, and the fact that Socotra Island is literally just like a haven of endemic life. It's just an absolute gem of a place, like no other. The trees look like something out of a sci-fi movie, and they've got like more endemic life in that one place than most places anywhere. And it just absolutely just gripped me to the point where I found myself one day reading a paper on the soil compound of Socotra Island, and I'm like,
that is another
this
level.
has probably gone too far now. Like so yeah.
I think you did the Balfourii build video, and you kept mentioning Balfourii, and then since that point, for me anyway, it's what I've seen. The internet has just gone boom, Balfourii.
Well, I'll be honest. I think
you lit the touch paper, didn't you?
I think the real credit goes to Tom Moran, because I found out initially a lot of what he knew, like about them. Like I remember watching some of his videos, and I just kind of got hooked on them, and then just kind of went with it. It was never like, I'm going to be known for Balfourii, or like I want everyone to like say I'm the Balfourii guy or anything like that. It was just me taking a passion and just like sharing it, like tarantulas as a whole. But yeah, I saw a lot of, it was Tom Moran's communal stuff that really triggered me to start looking at it myself and trying certain different things myself, and looking at their environment, and then just seeing how we can get the enclosures we set up closer to the natural environment, because we're never going to get it exactly the same, but we can try and like encourage them to, like reptiles, you want to try and encourage them to replicate natural behaviors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the whole communal debate really interested me as well, and if they are communal, what makes them communal, and stuff like that. So it's just, there's so many questions, and I just wanted to just find out as much as I could.
It's a strange one, because it's like, what makes them communal? Well, they've got to share the same web. This isn't this isn't what makes them communal. It's human perception on what makes them communal for us to accept the fact that they're communal. Yeah, the Balfourii could be like, well, yeah, it's just like if we don't get fed, then in our culture, it's known that we eat the other one.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I just think there's still so much that we don't know. I mean, like the thing with the hobby is, years ago we thought we knew tarantulas should have sponges in their water bowls, and now we know different. And years to come from now, there's going to be a lot more that we think now that's incorrect and it's going to be different. And so I think it's you always have to try and push to try and learn more. And so that's why I never want to think that I know everything, like especially regarding Balfourii, because I could be wrong with some of the things that I think about Balfourii. But the only way you're going to find this out is by trying things and learning more.
I started off with 14 and now I've got 9. It's difficult because when I looked at Balfourii, it's like, yeah, okay, they're communal. Everyone says they're communal. They must be communal. And then when I put my own thinking cap on, it was like, well, if they're communal, why does the female eat the male after pairing? Then I've seen an absolute incredible piece of footage. I can't remember the name who it was. So I can't give them credit. Hopefully somebody else will remember because it's been on Facebook. And that was the Balfourii pairing with one female, while another female was by the side of him tapping away. And he literally moved on to the second female with the other female just backing off. And then I thought, actually, I'm not going to split my communal up. I'm going to leave them together.
The thing is with what
I also thought was, how do Balfouris get threesomes?
So the thing is, I find, yes, that there's always going to be exceptions. So, and that's what people don't seem to take into consideration sometimes. Sometimes your communal will do something that my communal won't, or my communal will do something that your communal won't. Sometimes a communal will fail and you will have one fat Balfourii. Many times that doesn't happen. And that's not down to the species as a whole. That's down to individual specimens. No tarantula is the same. So even within a communal, from time to time, you are going to get one that doesn't fit the mold. And so it's going to happen. And so, but we can only go, because we don't get to observe them in the wild, because one, they're very reclusive in the wild, and two, Scotia Island's not the most readily accessible place. And when you are there, it's quite vast. And the Balfourii aren't in small enclosures or anything. They've got tons of space to be in. They could be anywhere. And so we can only go by what the majority see. And so with any kind of study or experiment, there is always going to be anomalies in the results. And you have to go by the information that is most repeated. So if it's successful majority of the time, then obviously that indicates that there's something here. If it's not successful majority of the time, that indicates that it's not successful as a whole. And that's what the difference where the difference lies between Balfourii and other species that have been tried communally. You put some species together and you will get 99.99% of the time a one fat spider. Balfourii, however, and this is why I never say that there isn't a risk involved with a Balfourii communal, because you aren't guaranteed success 100% of the time, because there can always be anomalies. But the results show that very much more commonly than not, Balfouris work together, and it's important to try and find out why. It's okay saying, okay, this species works communally and this species doesn't, but why is that the case? And that's the thing that fascinates me, finding out what is different with Balfourii compared to other species.
Would be interesting. Well, when the answers are going to come are probably a long way off, I would have thought.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's so many factors to consider, because even like temperatures around the island, if they change, does that affect them? Soil pH, if it's different, will that affect them? Springtails, anything could literally trigger one of them just to go, right, that's it, I've had enough.
Yeah, and the thing is, we still have never experienced them living communally in the wild. But for me, it comes from the maternal instinct. A very important area to study and consider is the maternal instincts of the mothers. Why are Balfourii females such good mothers and will keep their egg sacs and raise their young compared to other species? And I think that the mothers and the maternal instincts of the mothers is probably a very good starting point into understanding why they can work communally. Because for me, the mothers will keep an egg sac left with a Balfourii has a lot more chance of success. The mothers will feed their young, they will catch food and they will feed their young. And so at that stage, obviously, they are living communally, they're feeding together and what have you. Naturally, I assume
they've moved on from a communal, that's living as a family.
Exactly. And so over time, I imagine in the wild, they would probably disperse. But in captivity, if you raise an egg sac with the mother and then you leave them there, they're used to it. Like, because of the maternal instincts of the mother, they're used to being around each other. But why is that? Like, why is it that the mother is so good maternally compared to other species? And that, I think, for me, is a really interesting area to look at in terms of why they are so good communally compared to other species. Why does the mother just say, you know what, I'm going to eat you all? Like, why doesn't she do that most of the time? Whereas other species, you have to pull that egg sac, otherwise you are going to end up with a lot of eaten babies.
Robbie says maybe the answer to that is habitat. Maybe being on an island, it's more important for morselings to survive.
Yeah.
So the mothers are more paternal. That could be a possibility. Or maybe there's a predator on the island that eats Balfourii.
See, this is the thing. I think rather than just looking directly at why do Balfourii do well in a communal, like you say, there are areas where you can study further as to maybe the best places to start getting those answers. Because obviously there's a reason that rather than people just saying, oh yeah, well, you're forcing them to live together, but that's not the case. Like, it's not just a case of that, because they tend to thrive when living together. They will share food. They even show signs of developing a hierarchy. It's not just, oh, you've stuck some tarantulas together and they're coping. They choose at times to congregate in the same area. Like, they don't disperse. Yeah. Like, they create like little huddles. Like a recent video of Jaden's where he was feeding his, where they all congregate on one item of prey when there's plenty of prey to go around. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's what interests me, rather than just saying, oh, you've stuck them in a tank together and they're just coping. But why are they showing that? If that's the case, why do they show these unique behaviours that other species don't? And that's what I want to know. That's what I want to find out more about. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do actually keep them solo, to be fair, bugs and stuff. I keep a lot of mine solo because now my focus is trying to breed them myself, because still, unbelievably to me, I still haven't bred them, or I should say not conclusively. So I get to a point where I separate my females and I'm now trying to breed them so that I can, one, produce my own slings of my favourite species, two, so that I can have individual communals with mothers to analyze and actually study how they develop when left with mothers or separated and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of people do keep them solo, and that's another point. There are visible differences in growth and behaviour of Balfourii that have been kept solo and those that have been kept communally. So people do see differences in their Balfourii depending on how they've been kept, which is another interesting thing.
I mean, you could have an egg sac and literally try and pull out half, leave half in with the female, pull out half, and keep those ones solo, and then see which ones do better over a period of a couple of years. But then with the actual communals, there's so many variants to try.
Exactly. I mean,
temperature, different soils, pHs, even UV. Just so many different things. Unfortunately, I think if it was a cute monkey or if it was a reptile, it would have been done by now.
Yeah. The reason I say I've not read them conclusively as well, for anyone that doesn't know, is because when I did that big Balfourii tank, I actually put a paired female into the communal. And at one point when I came to move, I came to to pop them all up and whatever to move. And I found what looked like the remnants of an egg sac in, you know how it is, the thicker web and stuff like that. And I found a couple more than I had initially counted within the communal. And they were considerably smaller than the others. But because I had a communal of such large numbers anyway, and I had a communal of varying sizes, and because I'd not seen this egg sac laid and hatched and everything, I couldn't conclusively say that I'd had an egg sac within the communal and that I'd successfully bred them. So I still count it as I haven't bred them, sort of thing.
Anybody else would literally go, yeah, I bred them and this is what happened.
I can't do it until, so now that's why, for me to be able to have conclusively bred them, this is why I've got my adult females separate, and I'll see an egg sac, I'll see the babies emerge, therefore I've bred them. And then I can get over this frustration I've got that I love this species so much, and I've still not bred them myself. So for me to be able to say that I've bred them, I want to see that egg sac, I want to see the babies emerge and have them in front of me running around the enclosure and stuff like that. So yeah. It's possible that I've bred them, but I can't conclusively say that I have. And the real frustration was the fact that I couldn't conclusively say that I managed to get an egg sac within the communal. But you have ups and downs with these things, and one day it'll all come good, hopefully.
Have you bred tarantulas previous?
Mm-hmm.
What's the species have you bred? Which was the most successful?
My first species that I bred was Chilobrachys fimbriatus.
Fucking hell, straight in there.
Yeah, the first species I bred was Chilobrachys fimbriatus. I lost a lot of those to an incubator failure. I think about 7 survived. I also had around the same sort of time, a wild caught female, but obviously I didn't breed her. A wild caught female Chilobrachys discus blue. I didn't even know she was gravid when I got her. Obviously, I don't claim this as my breeding. I didn't even know that she was gravid when I got her. She went away. I thought she was going to burrow. Hello, Ellie, by the way. I thought she was going to molt. And the next thing I knew, there was a couple of eggs with legs scattered around the substrate. And I was like, oh, crap, there's an egg sac somewhere. I obviously investigated further, and she'd ate 90% of them. And these ones that were dotted around the substrate were the sole survivors. So I managed to save those. But then I recently bred Chilobrachys, no, not Chilobrachys, Psamopius cambridgei, Psamopius immernia. I've got a gravid female Psamopius reduncus that I'm waiting on an egg sac from. And I've got probably, at a guess, probably about 5 or 6 other females that I suspect are gravid at the moment, including hopefully at long last a Balfourii female. So
I mean, obviously you're obviously into your Psalmopoeus. Have you got an adult female Psalmopoeus Pulcher?
I have a sub-adult female Pulcher. Recently acquired her.
I have a mature male.
Yeah, she's probably my female's probably a molt or two away from breedable size at the moment, which I was gutted about because a while ago I was offered a male as well, and I was like, oh, I'd love to because they're one of my favourites, Mobius. But yeah, she's probably a molt or two away.
I've got Ellie's mature male Redunculus in with the female now. They've been together for 2 months.
My Redunculus paired really, really easily. And my female, he basically just bossed her every time that I put them together. And she's visibly gravid. But I think the time scale for their gestation is between a month and 3 or 4 months, something like that, before they tend to drop a sack. My female's just sitting around 3 months. She's looking visibly gravid and has started to make some more webbing. So I'm hoping the sooner rather than later that she's going to produce this egg sac, because my Emernia seemed to go the longer end of the spectrum as well, which I think is down to probably more down, if they're both doing it, it's probably down to the conditions in the room. It's just more suited to that. But every egg sac I've pulled so far in that room, when I've opened them, they've all been eggs with legs and very nearly the next stage as well. So the conditions in that room seem to suit the egg sacs. So yeah, hopefully the Redunculus will drop soon.
I paired up the Psalmopoeus Emernia last year. Successful egg sac. Paired up again this year. Remember that week we had the heat wave?
Yeah.
Well, she abandoned the egg sac literally as I was looking at her. And I left it for about half an hour. She didn't go back to it. So I took it out, put it into the incubator. I was like, yeah, it'll be all right. Split it as you do and all the rest of it. Eggs with legs, absolutely wicked. That heat wave killed them. Killed every single one of them.
I think that's similar to what happened with my Fimbriatus.
I come over from work and the incubator was on 34. I was like, no.
Yeah. See, the Fimbriatus for me, very similar happened. The first time I bred them, I think I lost a lot of them to an incubator malfunction, but I managed to save some. And then when I was ill, I sold my female Fimbriatus. But luckily, like this year, as I've started to get things back on track, I've got a new female and I'm pairing them again because this time round I want a nice, full, healthy egg sac and I don't want to lose all those babies again because it just didn't fit
I've got 2 Fimbriatus. I've got an adult female and a sub. So I'm glad you got one.
It just didn't sit right with me. Yes, I'd bred them, but because I'd suffered such substantial losses, it was like, no, I want to do it again. And she's literally, even though she was fed an absolute ton, she's just eaten the male, like because he just went down her burrow. So I didn't see if they paired or not. But she was fed and everything like that. And as it can be sometimes, if they eat the male, it can be a good indication. So only time will tell, really.
Interestingly, the Emernia, I was due another mature male to hook her up again. And it was fantastic tarantula, Hadley. I get on really, really well with Hadley. Hadley was like, look, here's the male. It's with Jaden at the moment, not a problem, blah, 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 blah. I spoke to Jaden and I said, look, you're going to the Bristol show in a couple of weeks' time. Pass it me there if you want. So he was like, yeah, sure. So he did. And literally, when I went to think, oh, yeah, shit, I must pair them, she's only double dropped.
Oh, nice. Great.
Oh, happy, Anne. Thank you so much. That will come in, not this month. It's like a month in arrears with YouTube, but she will get that next month, I promise you. I will shout her to come in a second.
That's awesome.
In fact, Layla.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that the Harpactria species black sac was a bad one, Hadley.
Oh, no way.
That would have been massive if that sack had been good. I was really excited for that sack because I really like my Harpack Jurors.
I'm waiting on the Incy Gold to drop. That one is going to be. If that fails, I will be absolutely gutted.
Yeah.
They were together for a long time. Because I generally try and leave the male in with the female. A lot of people go, oh yeah, but then the male gets eaten, and it's like, well, yeah, but that's natural. That's what happens.
Yeah,
get over it.
If I can save a male, I will. But I kind of take it as if it's going to happen, she's going to have him anyway, like kind of thing. It's a natural thing, and if it is a successful pairing, it's more nutrients for her that will help her with the egg sac.
Exactly. Oh, all right.
No, I'm not.
No, why?
I'm trying to hop over these flipping wires and the handle of your tripod.
You'll be fine.
Happy birthday to you.
You smell like 1, 2.
You smell like a zoo. Come and say hello.
Do I have to?
Yes, I'll even put you on big screen because it's your birthday.
Wait.
Quickly.
Put them up there.
She's like, oh, okay. Oh, come on.
Hi.
Hello. Happy birthday.
Somebody's
you.
12.
12. Jeez.
What
Goes
did you get?
fast.
I got a DS and 4 games, and then I've
Awesome.
got this
She bought herself a Gothbirds jacket.
an amazing one.
Nice.
I don't know where she gets that taste from.
And then I already had the matching t-shirt underneath.
Whose t-shirt's that one?
Mine.
Yeah, it's my t-shirt that she stole.
Because it didn't fit you anymore because you were too
Look.
fat.
Everybody's saying happy birthday in the comments. Like,
Thank you.
no, where are you going?
To finish off yours and Louis' tea.
All right.
And then I'm going to carry on playing my CSI game on my DS.
She's off to play CSI on her DS.
I'm playing CSI on my DS.
That was one of the things with Layla. She was like extremely intelligent girl. Parents' evening was just like, what? Because Tara went, she come back and she went, Scott. Because we wanted to get her into this certain school in Coventry. It's like top 10 in the UK. And just wanted to push her, you know?
Yeah.
And she had her first parents' evening, and it come back, and it's like Tara had literally just went, she's top of the class of every subject that she's in.
Wow.
I was like, what? I was like, how can a girl have so little common sense but be so intelligent? So and then she was going on. She wanted to become a policewoman, and
Awesome.
I said to her, you know, it's like a change of thought programming for myself, because for years the police were the enemy, you know, and now it's like trying to understand that they're there to support you and to support the community.
Growing up, I always wanted to be in the police force. I always wanted to. Obviously, I haven't. I never have, but I very nearly did. But that's what I always wanted to do.
It took me a good few years to realise, like, the police aren't the enemy. It's all right, you know. You've changed, so your perception's now going to change.
Yeah, of course.
I was kind of saying to Layla, look, you know, the police force is a great idea, you know, and if you want to go with that, me and your mum will be behind you 100%. But here's the but, you know, police are intelligent, obviously, but you come across as being another level. So, have you ever looked at CSI?
Yeah.
And she was like, what's that? I said, it's crime scene investigation. I said, it's people that go in and find out what exactly happened in a murder scene, find the murder weapon, prove why it's a murder weapon, find out where people were lying, where people were, and all the rest of it. Basically walk into a crime scene and then come out and be able to say how the crime was committed. She was like, right. And then I said, well, watch CSI and you'll get an idea. And she's been addicted to CSI since then.
Oh,
So she's bought the DS, and the first game she's got, she's playing it now, is a CSI game.
Yeah.
and it's on the telly.
And you're watching it on the telly in the front room as well.
Yeah, that's right. Did you look? It's brass.
It's who?
It's brass. Brass.
Apparently that's Brass.
Jim Brass.
Jim Brass.
Yeah. Look,
Oh,
this is his
okay.
name right there.
I have CSI fans will know. I have no
Yes.
idea. No idea.
He's kind of like the leader of the CSI team.
Oh.
The top
All
dog.
right. See you later. I'm going to go do some more investigating with Sarah.
All right. So what made me crack up? Dale Strong, obviously really, really close friend of mine. He was like, Layla makes you look like you're an absolute midget in the videos. When Layla used to come in the videos. Because she was like, 10 and then 11? And because she's so tall, he thought I was like 5 foot. I'm like, no, I'm just shy of 5'11", mate. So when he first met me, he was surprised. He thought I was going to be like down here somewhere because she's so tall, you know?
Everyone kind of always expects me to be taller. I've been told it a few times. I'm like 5'10" or 5'11", and everyone says to me, I thought you were going to be taller. I'm like, that's it. Just rub it in that I didn't quite make it to 6 foot. Thanks for that.
The first time I saw you, I think it was it the BTS?
I think so, yeah.
2019?
Yeah, I think so.
And I didn't speak to you. I just walked straight past you because I was like, there's Pycdex. And then just went past you. And then I think it was 2019 again. It would have been the Eastern or the Western show.
Yeah, something like
Where I actually come and spoke to you. And it was just like, wow, this guy is so nice.
that.
I remember walking away from you thinking, you know, you might not know because I know you was inundated with people at the, I can't remember what show it was now. I know there were a lot of people talking to you. But I walked away thinking, what a nice guy. What an absolute, genuine nice guy.
I do try. You ask Ebony, I'm not always a nice guy.
Talking about Ebs, actually, where did you meet her? How did you pair to get together? If
It's fine. So at the time, I was working for B&M, touring the country. I used to be on their store setup team, store opening team. So any new stores, I used to be part of their project management team. I used to go around the country and help set up and open new stores. And Ebony was at university in Wales, and I happened to be setting up a store in Wales. And I think through one way or another, we ended up talking online. And she mentioned that she was in university in Wales, and I was like, I'm working in Wales at the minute. And so we kind of arranged to, once I had some time off, because I used to work, like, if I was away, I worked every single day I was away, and then I'd get periods of time off. So I could work every day for a month, and then I'd get a certain amount of time off. And so we arranged that when I finished that job, that I would go and see her at her uni accommodation. And so that's what I did, and it kind of just went from there. And then
did you ever break the uni rules and kind of sneak in when you weren't supposed to?
No, luckily she had her own flat, student flat, with some of her friends at university. So I just rocked up there. And then once she finished uni, obviously she had the choice of either come back to Barnsley, or by that point we'd been together for a while, and I'd been travelling up and down to see her, and she'd been travelling up and down to see me. And then she chose to move to the West Midlands to be with me, to live with me. And then we lived there for a while, and obviously now we've moved up to Barnsley again to live here. So yeah, it was kind of a long distance thing at first, but we just kind of happened to start talking, and then in between my work time, I'd go and travel to uni, or she'd come and travel to me. So yeah.
What did she study at uni?
She studied. She's got a degree in zoology and marine biology.
Wow.
Yeah, she's far cleverer than me. Put it that way.
Wow.
I said to her, I always talk to her and I say, you should do more with, like, especially in terms of YouTube, you should do more in regards to the knowledge you have, rather than just, you know, the odd tarantula video. I said, because you've got so much knowledge there and whatever, you could do so much with it. So
a degree in zoology is one thing, but to have it in zoology and marine biology is mental. Because one of my little side things is I haven't got enough room here for marine setup. I know a lot about marine. I know a lot about corals and what have you. My best mate's got 3 tanks. A couple of other friends have got marine tanks, and I do a lot with them with marine. I absolutely adore it. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that the Great Barrier Reef is disappearing because we seem to be having it in our homes instead of in the sea now.
Yeah.
You know. But
See,
yeah,
when it comes to that kind of stuff, I have absolutely, when it comes to fish or marine, if it's not on land, I have absolutely no clue. So if anyone, like, if ever anything, I need to know anything about that kind of stuff, I always go to Ed, because I'm just like, I haven't got a clue.
that is incredible. She's got a YouTube channel as well, hasn't she?
Yeah, Black Wolf Ebbs.
Does somebody want to drop that down in the comments as well? And again, if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so.
Bailey, no, it wasn't Bailey. It was RS Designs 90 asked where I'm from. I'm originally from the West Midlands, Wolverhampton,
Couple
and Ed's from Barnsley in the West Midlands. Barnsley in the West Midlands? Barnsley in South Yorkshire.
Ah, there she is. Ebbs, put your link up to your channel, please. Pycdex get a leech. Says Ben Spence.
I've got 2. They're called my children. They leech my bank account enough.
I've got 3 kids.
No, I can't really say much. The person who drains our bank account more than anything is me with the tarantulas.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Tarantulas and enclosures.
Mate, the list of enclosures that I still need is unreal, because every time I start to get on top of getting my enclosures, I see more tarantulas that I need.
I'm really trying to stay true to one of the reasons why I started YouTube, and that's to prove that you don't need exoterras all around your house to keep tarantulas.
Yeah.
But my God, doing YouTube, you don't half feel pressurised to having all nice enclosures behind you and everything else.
See,
and I'm still trying to stay true to the fact that, well, no, you can buy them second-hand. You can keep them in plastic containers. Just put the same setup that you would in exoterra in a plastic container.
see, for me, the need for the enclosures...
That's an arboreal setup.
Yeah, I've got a few like that, yeah. The need for the glass, nice glass enclosures and all the lights that I've got and stuff isn't so much for YouTube and like pressure from that. It's because it bugs me, like really bugs me, having lots of different enclosures. Drives me up the wall, and I've just got some weird obsession with LED lights as well. So yeah, it drives me crazy that I have some enclosures different to others. I have to have them the same, but yet every time I go to buy enclosures, somebody drops me a message saying I've got this available, and I end up buying the tarantula instead of all the new enclosures. So I just add to the problem, because that's another enclosure then that's going to be different to the other ones, and I'm like, I don't help myself.
That is pretty much. I mean, I'm very similar. I've got a couple of exoterras. Not one is brand new. But I've got some glass enclosures that are similar to exoterras with the sliding doors like this. And then I've got all sorts of different shapes and sizes. But it's like I just said, it's for me. It's very much like I've always wanted to prove that you don't need a full rack of exoterras, to be able to keep spiders.
Oh, definitely.
And on my budget, I'd rather put the money into spiders than an exoterra. Or having said that, I am actually on the lookout for a reptibreeze, but can I find one cheap close to me? No.
See, I was like that. I was looking for ages for the 3-foot exoterras, the wide kind of terrestrial ones. I was looking for one of them for ages, and I was finding 150 quid and everything. And then I was like, I happened to find one, and it cost me, I think, 40 or 50 quid, and there was nothing wrong with it. So I bit somebody's arm off for it because I was like,
I was
blown away by that.
I was exceptionally lucky. My one of those was given to me in 2019.
Wow.
It was just like somebody. I think they had some sort of lizard in it, and it was a family lizard, and it passed away, and they were never going to have pets again. And to their word, they haven't had any more pets. But I've got that's another thing as well. I've got the Pistelia horodia in there, terrestrial at the front, a boral at the back. It's bioactive, it's kept moist, it goes against every single rule in the book, but it's working really well for me. People tend to raise their eyebrows when you say, I've got Balfourii communal. They go, oh, but they're not Balfourii because they eat each other. But the same people that say they eat each other, they're not communal, have then got a Pistelia horodia communal.
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on a minute, they also eat each other. I know because I've got a communal in a big space, and I took in shitloads of red runners, shitloads of food, and I still see the odd adult running around with a juvie or a juvie running around with a newly hatched.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like
it's funny, isn't it? Like some of the things you get told and stuff like that. If I can, I'm going to try.
Thank you, Andy.
Hasn't seen my room, I'm going to try and join on my phone as well, on my phone's internet, and I'll quickly show people my room if you want.
What have you got behind you?
Behind me?
The Invert Kingdom UK.
Down there on the floor, the black thing there, that's my tokay gecko enclosure. Oh. Down there at the bottom, that VV's blue tongue skink. That one there, the grey one, has my Mexican black king snake in. That one up there.
Oh, no way.
In that tub is a baby Brazilian rainbow boa.
Wow.
Over there, that black thing you can see there is a huge viv that stretches the length of the room. That's got my green iguana in it. There. She's not. So
you guys thought they just kept spiders.
And then up the top, you can't see, is my very aggressive, pissy bearded dragon. That bearded dragon used to come out and sit on my shoulder and let me walk around and do my thing. For some reason, can't stand me now.
I've got a chameleon like that. My male chameleon, you go anywhere near it, it flips upside down, bends in two to try and take your pinky off. I've got the California king snake, but the Mexican black is just absolute beautiful snake.
My favourite. That Mexican black king snake that's in there is actually the daughter of my very first snake. Because I had an adult female, and she, considering they max out at around 4 foot, she was 4.5 foot. She was pure black.
Wow.
And her mom went to a guy I know called Mike Conabier, Rattlesnake Canyon, but in Birmingham, who wanted to breed them. At the time, I really wanted to breed them, but obviously there was a lot going on and stuff like that. And so I said to him, can you take her? But if you breed her successfully, I'd love one of the offspring, because it was breaking my heart to part with her as it was. And luckily he did. He did successfully breed her. I think he's had 2 successful clutches from her since, and stuck to his word, and he gave me my choice of the offspring, and she's actually the daughter of my very first snake. So
that's awesome.
It's awesome to know that even though I couldn't keep my original, I have one of her daughters. So.
What's your biggest bugbear in the spider? Not in industry, but like home keeping. Getting past like people's lack of knowledge and all that type of stuff.
My biggest bugbear is probably the people that are harsh on people that make mistakes and are learning, instead of trying to help and educate people. It's the people the elitists, let's say, people who think that they're better than everyone else and make everyone else feel like you can never make a mistake?
I think I find it quite funny how the elitists used to push everybody else out. Now we're pushing them out.
Yeah, I just think lack of tolerance. Lack of tolerance is my thing. I mean, I know it can be frustrating when some people are making mistakes and don't want to take on help and advice, even when it's given in the correct way. But those people, that's their problem. That doesn't mean you should treat everybody the same way and assume that just because someone's made a mistake that they're not willing to correct it. We've all made mistakes. And you'll find that most people that are making mistakes are willing to be a sponge and take in the information and do the things necessary to correct any mistakes. But yeah, it's just that's probably my biggest bugbear. People who, give it the big one and get on top of people.
Then what's your favourite thing about like the whole hobby at the moment?
My favourite thing about the whole hobby is I think the fact that there's a lot more people championing the hobby and spreading a positive message. And I'm seeing more people than ever now, like especially over on my TikTok, for example, saying I don't.
You get good views on your TikTok.
I don't like spiders, or I didn't like spiders, but I'm starting to learn about them, and you get that, and you get that across all platforms. But I just think at the moment there seems to be more people willing to learn about them rather than just assuming the worst. You were always going to get people that just assume the worst, say horrible things like I'd stamp on them all and stuff like that. But I feel like because there's so many people putting a positive message out there now about the hobby, it's starting to turn a few heads and make some people think, you know what, I'm going to have a look. And maybe they'll never keep tarantulas or anything, but they start to try and learn a bit more and understand a bit more.
I have the privilege of working all over the place with my job. And today just kind of proved what you were saying. Is I went to a workplace and all I heard was Scott. And then one of my mates come running over because he works there. And he's like, what are you here for? And I said, I'm going to repair the forklift. Like, okay, I'll get the driver to bring it outside. Like, yeah, so halfway through the job, the driver comes out with his mate and he went, your mate says you keep like loads of spiders. I was like, yeah, I got about 300. He's like, oh, that's horrible, that is, blah, blah, blah. Don't you get scared of them, this, that? And I just went like this and I went, right, I found a picture of my GBB and I said, what do you think to that? And they instantly went, there's blue tarantulas. I went, yeah. I said, there's another one.
Don't even realise.
Metallica. And both of them, by the time I finished, were like, wow, that is incredible. And both of them were like, are they easy to keep? What do they eat? So you could see him thinking about it. And it was like, well, KBN and Coventry sell them. That's where I started. And literally they were like, might go and have a look at the weekend.
Yeah.
This was like two people that come and literally went, if I see a spider, I'm going to stamp on it. Yeah. And that's literally the first things that they said to me. And by the time I'd finished, I think they just agreed to it because probably chatting their head off, like. But by the time I finished, they were like, wow.
I find it funny sometimes when someone says, yeah, if I saw that tarantula, I'd stamp on it. I'm like, mate, some of the sizes of mine, if you wouldn't be able to stamp on it.
Stamp on you.
Mate, I'm going to see you try. Right, I'm going to join with this phone a second and I'm going to try and show people my room when I can get down there. If it works. Right, let's not.
Have you got your microphone?
There you go. Mute that one for a sec. See if
boom.
It won't turn for some reason. So you might have to go with the TikTok view.
That's cool. That's cool.
Let me just where are my keys? I'll find my keys first. Obviously, I have to keep the room locked.
Greg says at the shows with Bugfest, they either see him handling tarantula and they either are fascinated or they panic like crazy.
Sorry, I'm deafening everyone now.
Oh, thank you. I've got about 20 minutes left, Pycdex, before I need to shoot off because I'm on call and I've got a pre-booked job for 10:30.
That's fine. I'll just quickly give everyone a view of this, if I can.
I definitely want you on again, though. This is an absolute dream to have a building like away from the house.
It's an absolute mess at the moment, so excuse the mess.
Wow.
But yeah, let me turn the lights on. This is that Sturmy. Oh, no, wrong. This is the Sturmy tank that I was on about that I've just built.
Wow.
Just this one. Obviously, the lights on the top are plant grow lights. Let me turn those ones off so you can see it a bit better. That's going to be for my Sturmy. She's not in there at the moment because I'm just letting it kind of grow in at the moment. Up here, we've got some
the plants established.
Albop slings there, incubator there, and then we've got a load of slings there. Arboreals go all the way around the top. And then you've got some of the different Balfourii there. One of the females over there. That one's supposed to be gravid. The one that's in there, hopefully gravid. My agent in there. Harpacteria pulchrites females in there. She's hopefully gravid. There's the male. More Balfourii there. My Phomictopus cantherides females just in a burrow at the moment. Just paired them recently. Oh, Cambridge Eye female. She's the one that gave me the eggs out this year. Emernia female up there who absolutely hates my guts. I think that's the male HMAC. He's been in there for about 3 months, I think. Regalis female. Seaverse is in there. My Reduncus female is in there. She's hopefully going to drop me an egg sac soon. That one is Haiti adult female.
Nice.
There's the Pulcher. She's just in there at the minute. These are a bunch of slings. Some of my more rarer ones. T. Celadonia and T. Penulhauletorums. These are all my Emernia slings that I've got left. Cambridge Eyes, Ebbs Mantis. That one is G. pulchra. Female, the Phomictopus Dominican Purple. One of 2 females I've got of those, and I've got a male, so I've got a nice breeding group. OBT, Brachypelma aerator, only Brachypelma I will ever keep. The Orthodoctonus utiothani, Dancing Earth Tiger, that's one of Ebbs. That one is not a sea versicolor, it's actually an avic. Adult female, Huahine, Ferrophosa sturmi, temporary enclosure until she goes into there. H. gigas, Minax, Blue Fang, Harpacteria species black. What else have we got? My smaller Emurinus. Then these ones down here are a mix of things like Balfourii, from different Phomictopus, like my Cochleavorax snail muncher.
Wow.
Grammostola eharingi, pear, more Dominican purples. A couple of Pamphobetas like the Costa, Platioma, Mashala, green gold carapace, Phomictopus. Then over here, I don't think she's out at the minute. That's my adult female Emurinus. Grammostola pulchrites, and then some slings up there. So yeah, that's for anyone who hadn't seen the room. That's the room as it currently stands, and an absolute mess on the table.
That's
but yeah.
awesome.
So, and then at night, I just turn the lights off like this, and it turns into the blue palace. And that's kind of what you see behind me in the videos. Especially my intro, you just see that backdrop with the lights. So it makes for a nice backdrop. But yeah,
That's an absolute dream.
but yeah, primarily now I concentrate on trying to focus on my breeding and stuff, because that's what I really enjoy doing. So let me just get back up here for you, and I will leave this camera and jump back on the other one.
Do you think he knows his mic is off?
There you go, just like magic. I'm glad you said that. I would have been here for ages just talking with no mic. But yeah, that was the room for anyone who hasn't seen it.
What's your plans for the future apart from breeding?
Well, breeding is predominantly where I'm heading. Basically, I want to do very much like Hadley does at Fantastic Tarantulas. You know, with his website, he pretty much sells exclusively what he breeds, pretty much. And that's what, because I've got my website for the t-shirts and stuff. I want to just anything I breed promote through that website. So the website will.
What's the website?
It's www.theinvertkingdom.uk. So anything that I breed will go on that website, and I'm not looking to be the next spider shop or anything like that, but it's just the enjoyment. I'm a hobbyist breeder, so anything I breed is just my way of putting captive bred stuff back into the hobby, because obviously that's really important. I think as hobbyists, if you have the know-how and the ability to at some point put captive bred stuff back into the hobby, then you probably should, because it's the way that it keeps the hobby going in a, as we all like to say, legal and sustainable way. So it's my way of giving back to the hobby, really. And any money I make from my breeding just goes straight back into more breeding. Like
I was about to say, as a large collection hobbyist, I don't think you ever are going to make money from breeding spiders.
No.
To somebody else, they might go, "Oh, well, you've just had a sack. You've just made 300 quid off, that egg sack," and it's like, yeah, but the female cost 170.
Yeah.
Then how is it feeding it? And then, oh, wait a minute, everything else here as well. It's like, no.
Yeah, exactly. Like those 2 Penulhauletorum slings that I've got, they're a project for the future, hopefully to grow those up and attempt to breed those. They were like, for the 2 of them, it was 150 quid. So like, I mean, yes, if you get females, they do, their value goes up, but you've got to feed them in that time. You've got to house them in that time. Like you say, your egg sacs, you've got to incubate them, and, you've got to buy sling pots for them all. There's a lot of cost that goes into it. So for me as a hobbyist breeder, for me as a hobbyist breeder, it's more about the enjoyment of, trial and error of trying to breed them. And then when you finally crack it, it's an amazing feeling. And then when you do successfully produce a good amount of slings, you're putting captive bred slings back into the hobby, so that we don't need to take that. It gives even less excuse for people to take them out of the wild. So for me, I'm never. I don't think I could physically. Like, I don't have the time, the energy, or anything to be the next spider shop. I think it might take the fun out of it and the enjoyment. To do it on a big scale like that. I just like to use my collection to do something.
Have you seen what CFTN are doing?
No.
Building one of the biggest spider breeding facilities in the world.
Wow.
He has gone another level.
Good night, Mark.
Last time I was chatting to him, he had 30,000 spiders.
Whoa. Yeah. My room down there is enough for me to manage.
How can you comprehend feeding that many?
I can't. My room, with the kids and work and everything else, that's enough for me to manage. Yeah. And I do want to extend the room a bit at some point, just so that I can have a room for species that need slightly higher temperatures and a room that I can keep slightly cooler. But But beyond that, I just couldn't imagine it, like, to have that many to deal with. Like, but fair play, if you've got the time, money, and the means, and you enjoy it enough, then fair play.
I think what's good is I mean, I enjoy when friends breed spiders, you know, buying one of their spiders and having it in your own collection. You know, even if it's a curly hair, I'll go for it because the friends bred it, you know.
Yeah.
But now we've got you as a YouTuber, so you know everybody's like, "Yeah, I love Pycdex," and now you're producing slings that can be bought on your website. Is absolutely epic.
Yeah, I
think that's cool. I really do think that's cool as fuck.
I think it, for me, I like the fact that I'm grateful, more so, let's say. I'm grateful for the fact that people have supported my channel to a point where the Invert Kingdom has become more of a brand rather than just me making videos. I never imagined it would ever be that point. And so for me, if I can breed things and put them back into the hobby, yes, people pay for them, but that's just so that I can continue to do it, like continue to put more spiders back into the hobby.
You can't afford to do it for free. Nobody can. Well,
but it's a way of giving back to the hobby, because like you say, you're never going to get rich from it, but you get enjoyment from the process and from the spiders and the breeding. But then you've actually got something to show for it that you can actually put back into the hobby. And if someone gets enjoyment from owning something that I've bred, then that just makes me feel even better. Do you know what I mean? So,
when I've got a couple of scorpions, I say a couple, probably about 6 at Unusual Pets, Leah is get-givers, and you just know they're never going anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just makes it another level special.
Yeah.
I think. Because you know anybody could go and buy a scorpion from a pet shop, from online or whatever, but to get one off one of your friends that they bred is just. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's, you know, not just scorpions but spiders. My morning gecko colony come off one of my very good friends of mine, and now they're having babies, which is just like wow.
I'm waiting for my morning geckos to start having babies, and I'll probably be inundated before long. But yeah, just a quick mention, if it's all right. Obviously, people know I do YouTube, and I did earlier mention the TikTok as well. I'm really enjoying TikTok at the moment in terms of, because of the time that it takes to make a TikTok compared to YouTube. I can make more TikToks. So if people aren't following my TikTok, I really would appreciate the support over there, because you get content on TikTok that you won't get on YouTube, because I'm not always the most consistent with YouTube uploads, purely because I've got 2 young children, work, I've got a collection and breeding. I find it very hard at times to get videos out on time, but there is, especially at the moment, there is always content on TikTok for people to hopefully watch and enjoy. And I try and put informative content out on TikTok, like with a bit of facts about species that maybe some people don't know. And it seems at the moment to be going down pretty well. I've been quite shocked at how well it's been doing at the moment. So if you're not following TikTok, I really appreciate the support over on there.
I've just put Pycdex's TikTok straight down in the comments. So please feel free to click on that and go and give him a follow on TikTok as well. TikTok does seem to be growing and growing in popularity. I mean, admittedly, when it first came out, I was thinking, yeah, it's not going to last.
I mean, I was insane.
It's lasted that long that even YouTube have took note and started doing shorts. TikTok have now gone to 3-minute videos, which gives us as creators a bit more time to do a longer kind of video.
Yeah.
So in the future, will TikTok be as big as YouTube? I think it's already there.
I think TikTok is only going to get bigger. I think for me, I was like the same. She was like, "No, I'm not into TikTok." Honestly, at first, I struggled to get to my head around it when I first got on it. But now I quite enjoy it, and in some ways, like, I find myself leaning more these days towards TikTok than YouTube. Just simply at the moment, I don't think I'll ever leave YouTube altogether, hopefully. Well, I will one day when I'm old and grey. But for my lifestyle at the moment, TikTok seems to be something that's a bit more manageable. But that's not to say that obviously I don't enjoy putting YouTube content out, because I do.
Well, when you've got a collection like yours, that is a lot of TikTok content right there, especially with like species like this T. Caledonia and other things that people don't necessarily have the opportunity to get themselves, can then see.
I'm very lucky with that, though. I have to say, with T. Caledonia particularly, I have been very lucky. I was gifted my first one by the community, and obviously I had a horrible situation with that. That escaped, and I never saw it again, which was devastating. And then this second one I was gifted by Tarantula Dan. So to have been gifted 2 Caledonias has been, I consider myself very, very, very lucky. So it's only due to the generosity of others.
I swapped mine with Hadley for a few little bits and bobs, but nowhere near the value of the T. Caledonia.
Yeah.
Leah, the babies that I had just went bump.
The little scorpion, Leah, I assume it's I never see it. It gets fed and watered, and it seems the food and that seems to disappear. So yeah, I assume it's great.
Ooh, she says she's about to breed the Silenenus, the old Peter's eye as well.
I've paired mine as well. First scorpions I've ever paired, and watching them do their little mating dance was fascinating. But yeah, they've got a long gestation period, haven't they? Like I think it's 12 months or something like that.
I think most scorpions do. Dale sent me, because the footage, the Emperor Scorpion footage of them breeding that I put on my channel, they're not mine. That was all Dale's footage. And when I was talking to him, if anybody knows Dale, his knowledge on scorpions is literally second to none. Incredible knowledge on them. But I was chatting to him, and he said, "Yeah, you can have a baby, but you're gonna have to wait 12 months."
Yeah.
Like what?
It's like I think it's Dale that's got the species of scorpion that I dream of having, and it's the Pandinus cavamanus, the red claw scorpion, cave scorpion, emperor scorpion. I can't remember the common name, but anyway, it's the same genus as the emperors. And at one time, I remember they were on TSS website, but since then, never seen them again. And I think Dale's the one that said he's got them and he's breeding them, I think.
If he's paired them, just drop him a message, and he'll remember. He will remember when they drop.
I'll chew his arm off. If he breeds those, I'll chew his arm off for one. I'm like, take whichever one you want, preferably the left, because I need the right. But if you want the right, you can have it.
Take the one with the orb weaver on it.
Yeah,
which has got to be one of the best tattoos in the YouTube community. That is awesome.
It just makes me feel weird because I don't have this one done now. So.
I've got schools on this one. I'm just booked in with Kieran to get some more work done here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because he did
since I moved.
He did that one.
Oh, nice.
That's the autism one for the lad.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
I'm having something done, but this jigsaw puzzle is going to come up towards it. What I'm having done will probably raise a few eyebrows because it's not what you'd expect.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be something that I've always wanted to do, but now I'm having it done. It puts out one of my views in only a Scott way.
Oh, right, okay.
And one of that views is like, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what colour you are, we are one species, we're one race, and that's it. So it's going along that type of lines. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Greg says Dale is my man to go through for scorpion help. Yeah, Dale, like I said, he's got to be one of the most knowledgeable guys in the country. If he did YouTube, I think everybody's eyes would go, wow. The Scorpion King. Yeah, he is pretty incredible.
That's cool. What's that? It's because it's very difficult to tell them apart from emperors. You have to count the hairs on that. Wow, I did not know that.
Phil's another guy that's
counting hairs. Counting hairs? That's what I do with my facial hair because I've got so little of it.
It took me, God, I think I was about 33, 34 before I could shave every day and actually grow a full beard. You know, most of my mates were like 18 and could grow these massive things, and I was still like, you know,
Mate, I'm 30 next month, and this is still as good as it gets.
I was my early 30s before I actually had a full proper, like, I could actually grow something. And I think 42, this is probably, I think I've just about caught up to how long it was last year. But last year, I made the mistake of not growing it underneath.
Yeah.
So it just looked like little spindly bits coming down and they went all over the place. So hopefully, I don't know. It depends.
I get the horrible neck beard. Like, I just get a lot of it here and then nothing. Like, so it's just like...
It depends. If it gets much longer and the enemy starts frowning, then obviously I'll cut it back, you know? Because, like, she lets me have so much stuff. It's incredible, like.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Jade.
It's funny because I'll go on sites and I'll be chatting to people. And when I was a kid, I always had blonde hair, right? So the last couple of years, my beard's come through and it's turned ginger. And I was chatting to one the other day and he said, yeah, I went in the army because I was fed up being picked on. You know what it's like being ginger. I'm like, no, I don't know. Had to shave this past week for respirator fit test. Don't think I can get on camera till it comes back, says Valhalla.
No,
Phil says grow your beard. Yeah, but Phil, you know my pain as well, because in the summer, you know, you're a fat bloke, I'm a fat bloke. We get hot. We do get hot. We do sweat a lot. With the beard, all under here, it's a nightmare. So it's not too bad now. The weather's changing. It was like 17 degrees outside today, so it's still like summer. But when the winter comes, it's going to help. When the summer comes, I think that's when I'm going to be like, I might cut it.
Phil's got the kind of beard that I can only dream of.
He has got an epic beard, man. This weekend, the Mohawks coming back with a vengeance. Because I'm having the Mohawk back, and then the bit that I can grow, I'm going to grow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have something that I wanted when I was a kid. But again, you have to wait for that one.
Oh, okay.
So it don't involve dyeing it. It's just the particular style that I absolutely loved. But on that note, I do hate to say, like, I've got to go, but I have got to go. I am on call. I've got a pre-booked call out for 10:30. The guy was supposed to be for about 8 o'clock, and I managed to phone him up and say, is there any chance I can come at 10:30 instead? And he's a lorry driver. He's sleeping in his cab. And he went, yeah, that's not a problem, mate. So he was nice enough. I am going to get him a can of Coke from the shop on the way to say thanks, like, you know.
Yeah.
But Andy, yeah, it's going to be a bit. Yeah, you're going along the right lines really when you say Mohawk mullet, but not quite a mullet. You'll see. Think more Viking, and you'll be there. But Francis, Pycdex, Tarantula Dam, the Invert Kingdom.
I'll answer to any of them these days.
Thank you so much for coming on. Really, really enjoyed it.
Pleasure.
Thank you for taking us to some dark places. Thank you for taking us to some absolutely amazing places like your invert shed out the back there. That is absolutely incredible.
My pleasure.
And hopefully you'll come on again in the future.
Of course. There's so much more we could talk about. So, yeah, anytime you want.
That's nice one. Appreciate that a lot. Again, if you're not subscribed to the Invert Kingdom UK, please make sure you do so. I think Callum's gone off home. If somebody else could just whack Sidex's channel link in the comments just one last time, that would be absolutely awesome of you. Please.
Jade. Aww. There's always another time, Jade. You know.
Speaking of TikTok, have you seen Jade's?
Have you seen Jade's everything social media? It's always immense. I'm like,
her YouTube channel is amazing. Her TikTok's amazing, but then her Instagram is just like,
yeah.
Jade? Where did you get the time?
Yeah,
It's just like, wow.
Jade's like
Thank
the
you,
social
Stefan.
media queen, I swear. Like,
She is the queen of inverts.
yeah.
Well, queen of animals, I should say.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
But thank you to everybody in the comments and watching. If you've been here from the start, massive, massive, massive thank you. If you haven't subscribed to the Invert Kingdom UK before and you have now, thank you so, so much. You will not be disappointed. You've seen what he's got and you've seen what he's capable of. I'm looking forward to the video where the T Sturmy goes into that enclosure because that looks amazing.
Because she hates me as well. So the first time I got her, she tried to bite me through the box. So.
Well, Sturmy's not too bad. The apophysis.
My Sturmy, she's evil, mate. She's evil.
It runs along when I pop up the lid. It runs along just to give me a threat pose, and I'm like, "What? Really? Really? Yeah, I've got food. I come with food. I come with T apophysis offerings.
Yeah.
You want to give me a threat pose?" So my mate bred some corn snakes. One passed away, so I gave it that and it ate it.
Yeah,
He's like, you know, I treat you better than the other ones. Look, you get massive meals, yet you still come like, Rah! Literally like a pair of fangs running through the air at you like this. But yeah, Pycdex, thank you so, so much. Really, really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me
and for coming on. And we shall see everybody later. Night, everybody.